In our last session, we discussed how to use connection to regulate your nervous system. But have you ever felt like you were doing everything right? You're sleeping, you're connecting, you're managing your environment, and yet you still feel a slow, persistent crawl toward burnout? Have you ever thought that big stressors are the only things that cause exhaustion, while the small stuff doesn't matter? Well, that is what this session is for. Today, we are diving into the science of microstressors, the daily, nagging irritants that seem harmless in isolation but accumulate into a state of allostatic load, the wear and tear on the body that accumulates as an individual is exposed to repeated or chronic stress. We aren't just talking about stress. We're talking about the biological interest that cures when you don't pay your stress debt daily. Your body does not distinguish between a big problem, like a major deadline, and a small one, like a traffic delay, a late email, or even a messy desk. It simply records the stress response. Defining allostatic load. Think of this as your biological credit card. Every microstressor, a notification, a minor annoyance, a cold draft, adds a small charge to your system. If you pay it off at the end of the day with recovery, you're fine. If you don't, the interest starts to pile up as inflammatory chemicals in your blood. The cumulative effect. When allostatic load gets too high, your body's baseline changes. You stop being able to distinguish between safe and threat, which leads to that feeling of being wired but tired. How this works for me. I used to let little things that included but weren't limited to typos in community posts, thumbnails, technical glitches with live streaming ruin my entire mood. I've learned to treat these as micro-depths. I now have a rule. If a microstressor takes less than 2 minutes to resolve, I handle it immediately so it doesn't linger in my working memory and add to my allostatic load. When you learn to manage these tiny hits to your system, you gain incredible control over your long-term energy, preventing the threshold effect. By addressing microstressors in real time, you prevent your nervous system from hitting the threshold where it forces a shutdown. Increased adaptive capacity. Successfully navigating daily frictions strengthens the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, the AMCC, your brain's willpower hub, making you more resilient when the actual big challenges eventually arrive. This is where the wellness trap often reappears. The optimization trap. Don't turn this into a game of stress spotting where you become anxious about every tiny thing that goes wrong. If you're obsessing over eliminating every single microstressor, you're actually adding a new, massive microstressor to your life: the numbant risk. Remember, some people try to numb themselves to microstressors using music, apps, or distraction. While it can help, it doesn't stop the allostatic load. It just prevents you from realizing your cup is full until it spills over. You need to acknowledge the stressor to clear the debt. The takeaway for today's episode is simple. Pay your stress debt daily. You don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to eliminate all friction from your life. That's impossible. You just need to make sure you aren't carrying the weight of today's small annoyances into tomorrow. Stay aware of what is charging your system, and give yourself the grace to close the tabs before you go to sleep. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I'll see you in the next one as we dive into how to objectively analyze your own biomarkers to become your own scientist. Stay calm, stay grounded, and stay real.